Thank you, Kelly. Hey, everybody, this is Dwayne.
And this is David.
And this is Survivor Talk with D&D, and we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. And tonight is our 212th episode of Survivor Talk, and we're going to be talking about episode 6 of Survivor Worlds Apart. And it was called, what was it called, David? Odd Woman Out. Right?
I sound just like you. Yeah.
Sorry. So either they're calling Sierra an odd woman, or she was the odd. What? Okay, forget it.
Well, the funny thing is, it was said about her by one of your players, but it could have also been talking about Shireen.
Yes.
So.
Yes, it could have. By the way.
Crud,
crud, and double crud. I mean, going into Tribal Council, both people were on Team Destroyers. I was so upset.
Joe's not on your team. Oh, did you not fall for it, or no? Actually, 2 of the 3 were on my team that were possible.
Wait,
Rodney or Joe.
No,
Joe's on my team.
No, he's not. Is he really? Hold on.
He's on my team. Yeah.
No, he's not. Just a second. I'm going to pull up our website. Da-da-da. So anyway. Oh, where's my podcast notes? We are live.
But because it's funny that you bring that up, because one thing I enjoyed about this episode is that I think I smashed you in some degree between Rodney's confessionals. My goodness.
Yeah, you smashed me. It's ridiculous. All right, Fantasy Draft. STWDD.com, and I'm going to our fantasy page.
Because you've forgotten who's on your team, who's on your tribe.
I never remember who's on my tribe. Let's see.
I have a meeting with my tribe.
Joe is on your tribe.
I have a Team Cholera meeting every Wednesday afternoon. We all get online and we all talk.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Well, anyway, we're live on our website, STWDD.com. If you're listening on iTunes or Stitcher later on, then try us out. Thursday nights, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Go to our website. You can watch us live. You can also watch our podcast on iTunes. I'm sorry, on YouTube. And you can just look it up. David is following the chat room, which is on our website. And I am following hashtag STWDD on Twitter. So if you happen to be live, hashtag STWDD, or hashtag STWDD anytime you want. And who knows, maybe we'll see it. Tonight we do get a Miko's Challenge, David.
Yeah, we're just following the hashtag. We're not promising we'll see it. Who knows, maybe we'll see it. Is that what you said?
No, that's not what I said.
That's kind of what you said.
Do it during the week, then we'll see it, and who knows, maybe I'll say something about it during the show.
Okay. Oh, you said during the week. I got you. Okay.
Yeah. No, if they do it during the show, then unless it's something like I can't say, then it'll be.
We not only have Miko's Challenge, we have Miko's feedback within the challenge.
Yes, it's a challenge feedback. So that'll be kind of fun, and that's always fun because I always lose, and y'all get to laugh at me. I'm so glad that y'all think that's great. Check out our website, stwdd.com. We have 2 bloggers, Shayna and Alex. Be sure to check them out. Of course, our all kinds of stuff's on the website, so go check them out. And next week, David, we have our most recently made favorite co-host. She's already done 2 shows with us this season. She's doing another one. It's Kelly Wentworth on the show next week, next Thursday night live.
So our most recent favorite, which means we've now lost our previous favorites, because you've deemed a new favorite co-host.
We never really had a favorite.
We've never had a co-host. We never had a co-host because we always had guests.
That's right. But really, she's coming on as a guest co-host.
Right, for the recap show.
Yeah, she's going to be fun. We always enjoy talking with Kelly. And who knows, maybe she'll wear her Survivor Talk shirt. Check it out, David. I got my Survivor Talk shirt on.
Very nice.
And because Mike, Dwayne, I want you to buy me a shirt and send it to me. And idiot me forgot to buy it and send it. So our shirts are on sale again for through Wednesday. So, and it's not just the shirts, because I just went ahead and went on our Facebook group and said, hey, let me know what you want. And so 8 of the shirts that are showing. We got a couple hoodies on there, some kids' colors, and women's tees and regular tees are all on there, and most of them were because someone requested them. So we're just trying to get the 10 so that I can get Mike's bought and sent to him, and so that will be fun to get that taken care of. So again, we do have shirts. Again, you can get them on our website. There's a shirt graphic on the right side, and you can see it. So that's going to be fun. We have a new podcast that we launched last week. It's actually used to be Shooting the Breeze with D&D. Now it is Movie Talk with D&D. And David, it has gotten a pretty good reception. A lot more than this show got when we first started this one.
Probably a lot of Will's family and clients and everybody else.
Yeah. But a very good reception. If you're not listening to it, Movie Talk with D&D, it's on iTunes. It's also on our website, Survivor Talk with D&D. And just go ahead and hit the iTunes subscribe button or get it on Stitcher or however you want to do it. All right? David, tonight's show, I have a Red Bull. Mm-hmm. Do you know why I have a Red Bull?
Because you really had fun last week? And you want to repeat the process.
Yes, because I'm very tired. It's also because people are nice enough to become patrons of D&D for as little as $1 or $2 a month, which pays for this Red Bull. Mm-hmm. We get to have Red Bulls while we talk. David, do you have your 5-hour energy drink?
No, I do not. I have my glass of water in my Carolina cup, and as a memorial to them losing tonight and out of the tournament.
Oh. Okay, guys, we need a patron so that David can have a 5-hour energy drink next week. All right? Just go to our website. There's a patron button on the right side. Click it. Let's get to our next goal. It'll be fun. David, I have some initial thoughts after my first watch. Actually, I have one initial thought.
I have 4.
Oh, well, then you go first. We'll do 2 of yours and then whatever.
Well, you talk about your initial watch. I have to admit, I enjoyed this episode so much and was so busy that I only watched it once. Oh. And I sat down afterwards and wrote down all my thoughts on this episode because this was one of my favorite episodes I've ever seen in Survivor. So I'll watch it again. I loved it.
It was one of your favorites.
I just loved it. I loved the good, the bad, the challenge, the everything. Just the fact, not the challenge itself, but why the challenge went the way it went. I just loved the whole episode. I thought it was extremely entertaining. In fact, I thought it was 10 times better than each one last week, which Probst had labeled one of the best of the season, he thought. Yeah. I just thought this was so much better. But
what about it stood out for you? Because for me, it was just a standard episode. So what stood out?
The story behind throwing the challenge.
Okay.
The blind side in tribal council.
All right.
And the working to get there. We got a lot of who are they called? Escameca. We got a lot of them obviously this week because they were going to tribal council. And the reward challenge going to David instead of Goliath. You know, I enjoyed a lot of the facets of this episode. But you know what it really comes down to, Dwaine. You and I, we work hard.
Yes.
But we podcast harder.
Do we?
Well, Rodney and Joaquin.
Where are you going with this?
Rodney and Joaquin, you know, they work hard, but they party harder. So we podcast harder. So thank you for paying attention and knowing what that was coming.
Well, I was wondering where you were going with that.
That's as far as I was going with that one.
David, I honestly don't know if I can hang out with you though, because I mean, you know, you go to church every Sunday. You don't consume alcohol, I don't think. You're faithful to your wife. You know, you're a good father. I just can't hang out with you because of that.
You're right. I'm untrusting. I've been faithful to one woman for 29 years, which includes dating and marriage, and I'm just not worth committing to because I must not be a committable person.
Right, because you don't party and, you know, hook up with someone different every weekend, so obviously you are not trustworthy.
No, but you actually work at a church, so you are even worse than me.
Yes, I'm even worse. Not only do I go every Sunday, I work there. I go there 6 days a week.
Is that your initial thought?
I help people off the street, give them money for their electric bills and stuff. How dare I? Oh,
that's
well.
Right.
Anyway.
So my next thought is that we now know who knows how to talk to women, and it's not Dan.
No,
It's
it's
Joe.
not Dan.
Once again, it is not Dan. It is Joe. And Joe knows how to talk to women because he knows how to listen and
Yes.
listen and then just confirm and agree with what she says and be supportive of what she's saying. Because there
Right.
were some things that were missed this week that cost people their lives in the game, flat out. I might take heat for this. I haven't really had a chance. This month was my month to travel. For where I work, I go to a lot of satellite locations every 3 months, and I've been on the road all this week, especially the last 2 days. And so I haven't read our Facebook page a lot, but I might take heat for this. But I liked the Blue Crew throwing this challenge.
You might take some heat for that.
I don't care because I've said in the past that I hate throwing challenges and I hate going to tribal council, but I like throwing this challenge. But not because Mike is my pick, but because it was instigated by Rodney, but turned out better for everybody else.
Yeah, it turned out horrible for Rodney.
Yeah, it did.
Which means you can still say, don't be the one to bring it up.
Right, exactly. And I found, you're right, that's what I liked about it, was that Mike didn't bring it up, the other people didn't bring it up, but they used it to their advantage against the guy that did. And also, previously on, go ahead.
Wait. If you're moving, are you moving on from the
Yes,
Throne
go ahead.
challenge? Oh, did you watch any of the extra videos to
No.
get the full story?
I saw that one that somebody posted about Dan on our Facebook page. I did catch that this afternoon.
All right, so we'll talk about that more in depth as we go on. I'm not sure what I think about it yet. I know Corinne on Twitter said, now that's why you lose, that's why you throw a challenge.
Mhm.
So she supported it, and of course Dan, for all of you who are yelling at the screen like I used to do, this is my game and this is best for my game. So shut up and shut your ears, open your eyes, and pay attention.
I can't explain how I felt when I heard that. It's a weird, terrible sensation to hear those comments.
Did you look over at your wife and see the look of death?
No. I looked at Gracie and she was on her phone, so I was okay. I
looked over at Connie. She's like, I don't think so. And then I turned to her. I paused the TV. I said, Connie, you just need to shut your mouth, open your ears, and pay attention, and see what happens.
So when did you pull the remote out of your eye?
Well, it was at that time when she threw the tent at me and said, "See that backyard?
That's your bedroom tonight."
Yeah.
My last initial thought is
yes.
I was very, to me, previously on just gives away too much these days. And that's if you watch it, because I watch it to pick up stuff, but it had to do with, I remember Kelly being afraid, and then she gets saved in the episode because of what happens, and then Sierra talking about trusting people, I think, or something, but it was almost like too much of the episode in the previously on. So when you go to do previously on, I won't have any comments because I just kind of blew through it.
Did you say it spoils? Is that what you said, or it gives away
Well,
too much? But if it's from the previous episode.
Well, I saw the previous episode and I liked it and I remember it, but watching that, they're obviously taking the important parts of last week that are going to affect this week.
Okay.
But I don't want to know what's coming as far as different situations.
All right.
Okay, so I kind of want to watch the whole episode without being teased. I mean, I like movie trailers, but sometimes it's just they're too pinpointed to get into the episodes.
Yeah. Well, sometimes movie trailers are everything that was going to be good in the movie.
That's why you watch them, because it could save you the money.
Right. Well, speaking of the previously on, don't let me forget to do my initial thought. But they showed at least one thing that they did not show in the previous episodes. So last episode, I don't think they showed Shireen singing the Survivor theme.
No, they didn't.
And they did this time. And I didn't notice this last time, but props to Max Dawson for wearing his Survivor buff as a pocket square at Tribal Council last episode. I thought that was pretty nice looking.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's funny because you've talked so much over the last few minutes during my initial thoughts. I thought you were sharing your initial thought, but what is your initial thought? Was that it?
Are you being persnickety right now?
Look, just open your eyes, shut your mouth, and move on to previously on.
Oh, man.
No,
Somebody
seriously. Did you cover your initial thought?
No, no. Somebody, well, mine's more of a joke, you know. Somebody on the crew got a new iPhone with super slow-mo and couldn't stop playing with it during this episode. There was a lot of slow-mo stuff going on. It was like right after the iPhone 6 came out and the 6 Plus came out, all these slow-mo videos were showing up on YouTube of dogs licking your face and stuff.
Hey, we got a couple comments in our chat room. Bethany says that my husband said that he would never say anything like that unless he was prepared to die. So, and Sandy said Dan just made his way to the final two. After his speech, the person next to him just should say, "Show me the money."
The person sitting next to Dan should go, you know, before you say anything, Dan would like to tell you to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and pay attention.
Watch what happens next. Watch you give that money to him, not me or to her.
Now, in all fairness, that was probably, I don't know, maybe it was edited. Maybe it wasn't as bad as it came across.
Which week?
Yeah, which week? It was so funny during the episode. I messed up. I know I messed up. And all I've done is grovel since.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think he's ready to go to the other side and just be done with it. But I got something about that, too, later on. So
all I've done is grovel. I don't know why she's still mad at me.
She needs to just open her eyes, shut her mouth, and watch what comes up next. And she'll understand that I'm groveling.
Oh, gosh.
Now, why didn't we get a hashtag for that? Rodney gets 1,500 hashtags. Dan needs to get a hashtag.
Yes, you're right. Nagarote, the morning of the 15th, of the day 15. Shireen is facing the reality of the tribe dynamic. And this was, it wasn't difficult to watch, but it shows you how, for us, you know, we're watching a game. We're watching a reality TV show, right? But for them, some things happen in the game that really hit home, that really hit real life. And, you know, and it was just, you're like sitting there watching her, and she's like, what do I have to change? What do I need to do? This is just like whenever I was growing up and how hard it was then. But this time, I'm going to do something different. You know what I mean? That was just, it was a really honest moment in the show.
And I thought it was really good to leading to why I like this episode so much. It was very honest, and it was like it was a wake-up call. And this is what I talked about preseason, that I got the impression from her interviews and stuff, that she's somebody that could talk herself out of a situation. And now she's definitely in a situation. And the one thing I think she needs to help her is, other than, you know, an idol helps you in the game, but you need a immunity challenge win. You need to avoid tribal council for so many days, and that would definitely help, because you get opportunities to bond and stuff. But this is the good part about Survivor, because this is what we look for. We look for people to say, wow, okay, that was not supposed to happen. I've got to do something different. She flat out starts acting different, starts getting treated different, and even Carolyn later says, we're tolerating Shireen this right now, and that's okay.
You know, that is my goal in life, to be tolerated. and I know sometimes you have to tolerate me. Don't even lie.
For 212 times, yes. But it's funny that Carolyn said, I just don't trust you anymore. I can't trust you, because my first thought was, wait a minute, you just turned on her first. She didn't turn on you first. You just voted against her. Right. But then she explained better that it's just you and Max all the time talking, just you and Max, and I felt left out. You just didn't treat me right. So, and that's, we've heard that before, and I forget which person we were talking to. I think it was a castaway that said, you've got to treat every person like they're the most important person, especially those that are going to make the jury. And if you leave one person out, that's the one person that could turn on you.
Right. Now, Shireen said that Max kept pulling her away.
Yes.
Kind of deflecting. I don't know if that's true or not, but at least she's deflecting. And in all honesty, the reward challenge really, the reward win really did help Shireen.
Mm-hmm.
Really did help, because it gives her an opportunity to be not only away. Max is gone, so now she has an opportunity to bond with these girls, and Shireen, I don't know how, doesn't matter who she's a female, and so she and the females can have that bonding moment while Will stands off and jumps around in a corner.
Right. All right. Yeah,
And
that's
it-
what.
And
Well, I
it's
like the way this episode played out. I'm sorry. I like the way this episode played out, that she got the chance to work her social game, because she needed that more than strategic right now. She's got to get back
Right.
in the social game, and it's
Right.
going to carry her through the next episode.
All right. Do you have anything else about Haley and her talking, or do you want to go on to Eskameka?
I appreciate the honesty. I like hearing that and seeing that flat out face to face, and
Right.
and then we just get the backstory from Shireen, and it was a different story. I mean, it was interesting, but it's almost like an underdog story. I don't know where it goes at the end, but it was nice to see it played out to some degree, instead of being rushed inside the 48 minutes and she gets voted out.
Right.
So it was nice to see her give the chance to play it out.
Yeah. Did you do you remember what she said? That she grew up in Orange County.
She grew up in a rich neighborhood in Orange County, and she wasn't the skinniest or the prettiest, so she wanted to be noticed or just to be felt as part of the group. So I guess she would act up, make jokes, kind of act silly, just to get noticed. And I really liked what she said at the end. At that time, I didn't know how to deal with it, how to adapt to it, and now she feels she does. So needs to. Her last line was, "I need to fix it."
That's right.
So, and that's what I want to see. That's the story I want to see coming out from somebody at the bottom of the pile.
Right. So same day over at Eskameka, Dan is retelling his Mantis story, and it is kind of fun because it's kind of a fun moment. Even Sierra, who's kind of upset with him, and is also joking around, and they're all having a good time. But Rodney has heard this one too many times, apparently.
Yeah, I think he's over it.
Yeah, I think he's like
just a bit. I can't tell who's more excited about the new tribe members, him or Sierra. So because he's looking for that too.
Right. So we get the Rodney and Joaquin section, and basically Rodney says these are the things that he says why they can't trust Mike. He's a Southern boy, of course. Now they're Boston guys or they're East Coast guys. He goes to church every Sunday, and I don't. That's what And do you? He's celibate, which neither one of them can fathom. He doesn't drink and he doesn't party. And we're both about girls and partying, and he's not. So we don't want to, so we can't trust him. There you go.
This is why Rodney can't win this game, because he can't deal with people that are not just like him. And that's why he doesn't trust Mike, because he's not like Rodney. I would get up and do that with you, but it would be one or the other.
They were both doing the old hand fist pump in front of them without even realizing it.
Yes, in sync with each other.
So the other thing that Rodney says, and he doesn't stand around hitting his fist in front of him. No, he doesn't. But no, you're right. That you make a very good point, David. Very good point. So,
I get one out every once in a while.
Yeah, well we all do every once in a while. All right, you ready to get to the reward challenge?
I am. I wonder if Rodney is. I wonder if he's pumped for this. I wonder if he's excited to start this reward challenge.
I don't know. Is he? Well, Dan is always all about the reward challenge, man.
Oh yeah.
Just look at his face. He's like so thrilled to be there.
Do you think those guys were already eating it mentally, eating the reward, knowing that they were going to win? I mean, do you think there was a bit of confidence there, overconfidence?
Well, of course. Well,
and then Jen says, "Oh, come on, Jeff. Stop telling us what we're not going to get."
Right. Well, they go in knowing they're going to win, and the other tribe goes in knowing they're going to lose.
Right.
That's not how it happened, but so the reward is macaroni and cheese, some amazing-looking beef stew, and hot chocolate for some crazy, weird reason.
Yeah.
And some dessert that they didn't tell us.
But it was interesting watching their faces, because he said, "You're going to go on this amazing trip to go watch this, this miracle of nature, where the turtle comes up to the beach and lays the eggs and all this. It's just an amazing thing." And they're all going, "Yeah, and what are we going to eat while we're watching this?"
Yeah. I was rooting for Nagarote because I knew how much Jen would appreciate the reward. So I was rooting for them because I thought, okay, of all the people there, Jen will appreciate the reward more than anybody, based on what we know so far about her.
Hmm.
And
Oh yeah, right, exactly.
right.
Excellent point.
Now I would have
I
been
was so waiting though. I was so waiting when he said after the turtles, then you're gonna get a big bowl of hot turtle soup. But he
scrambled
didn't. But he
eggs.
didn't go, but he didn't go there. I've heard it's delicious, but I've never had turtle soup.
Scrambled eggs and soup in a turtle shell.
Oh man, bad.
You're gonna watch as the turtle comes up and delivers your supper for the next day. All right.
That's right.
I would have enjoyed this challenge more. Now, just think of it. All right, this is how they did it. The whole tribe goes at one time and then stands on a mat. Right?
Hmm.
I would have enjoyed it more. Let's say you and I are on a tribe together. We're on the Destroyers tribe. All right, and we're on this tribe together. And instead of us both going and all of our other tribe mates, I have to go first, and you don't get to go until I get one of the flags up, and then the next
Oh,
person goes.
wow.
Or if they want to give up, then they have to go back and tag. In other words, if like Haley was like, I just can't hit one, she would have had to go all the way back and tag the next person.
Hmm.
That would have been a better challenge, in my opinion.
The only problem is the show doesn't run from Wednesday to Thursday. It's got to end in one night.
They would have edited that.
I know. Edited it. They would have. You're right. But that would have taken a long time.
It would have been more challenging.
It would.
Basically, the whole first 4/5 of the challenge was just used for 5 seconds, and then it's over.
Exactly. Yeah, the first part blew through.
Yeah, and then basically the challenge was stand on this, climb up some barrels, and hit the walls. The rest of the challenge didn't even need to be there.
Exactly.
It had no bearing on the challenge at all whatsoever.
Right. The what I found funny was Rodney's exuberance into the maze or into the rope bridge,
Yeah.
because if you watch the Dream Team, they did right behind each other, step after step after step, whereas Rodney thought he was going to run across water. You know, I don't know what he thought he was going to do, but he tried to fly across and almost fell through several times. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm like, we just saw the Dream Team video. Didn't you see the video?
Yeah, there's some rope burns going on.
Bethany wants to know. Sorry, we're lagging on each other, so I think we're mixing up. Bethany wants to know: do you think they switched the way the challenge went to give more of an equal chance to the red team?
Well, they might have. Yeah. Well, I don't know.
That's a good question.
Okay, if they did, then they did it before they did the run with the Dream Team, because on the Dream Team video, it was the whole group, so they didn't last minute.
Yeah, Sandy says Jeff always says they are planned and built way in advance. That's true, but we have seen where the Dream Team does a slightly different challenge than the actual Castaways. So I think the whole basis of it was built. I agree. Maybe they go in as a group instead of one at a time was done to help the red team. Of course, they also had Will, so poor Will.
Yeah, Probst was at a loss for words, and Will misses. Oh, he made it. Okay, way to go, Will.
And Will's lagging by. Oh no, he's at the ladder. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Probst is like, I need to find somebody to chew on. Come on.
Yeah, really. All right, so Nagarote wins, and they came back and won, which was really good. I wasn't sure if they were going to win or not.
I found it interesting that Sierra got the farthest shot. She got the last board, where all the men took the short shots, and good old Sierra got the long one.
Yep. And then, of course, they chant what everyone chants after they win. I believe we can win. After they win.
That was a little late.
Yeah.
I actually went back and looked that up because I didn't know where that started, and it was in a Naval Academy prep school back in '98. I mean, all the way back to there. A guy was charged with coming up with a slogan, and he came up with it. So now it's been picked up by a lot of different things.
I believe that we can win. Will said he got it from watching the World Cup.
Right.
The American team was saying, I believe that we can win.
You know how it starts, right?
No, I don't.
It starts I. One person yells I, then the crowd yells I believe, then they yell I believe, and they do one word at a time until you get to the end.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a long chant.
Yes.
They did the short version. I believe that we have won. I believe that we have won.
Yes. All right, so Shireen makes a great point. Now she has an opportunity to bond on a different level, and that's true.
Mhm.
So we get to the reward. There's pillows, food, a mat. What about a clue?
I thought Haley spotted something when it showed her. Did you catch that? She kind of looked across, and she's like, "And what do we have?" or something, and she was talking about the food. But the look she gave, it's like she saw something.
Right.
And but you're right. I mean, I don't. There should be a clue, but I guess there's no idol to be found at their
Yeah.
camp because Jen's already got it. There would be a clue for the blue tribe
Right.
if they want a reward.
You know, it's since the immunity medallions, whatever they are, have been found, there hasn't been any mention of them. They're like not even part of the game right now. They're
Okay,
not even being used.
saying the word medallion and survivor is as bad as throwing a challenge. They are
Okay.
idols.
The
The medallion
idols.
of power is no longer part of the survivor vocabulary. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, sorry about that. David's like, David of D&D is not responsible for what Dwaine of D&D says. So Haley gets the David and Goliath reference. The slingshot and the giant goes down, I believe.
Mhm.
Yeah. And oh man, I'm telling you, that beef stew made me hungry. Oh, that looks so good.
Bethany had another comment. She said the mixture of food made me nauseated. It seems like they were trying to make these people ill. And I think Shireen was looking forward to that, where they all get together
Yeah.
and lose their lunch, but it never happened apparently.
Yeah. So I still don't understand why they gave him hot chocolate, but okay.
Must have been a nighttime thing for the Turtle Watch
Yeah.
because they were wrapped up in blankets at night.
Yeah, but they poured it during the day.
It's chocolate, you know.
Yeah, okay.
Are you really going to turn it down?
Yeah. By the way, I'm thinking, poor
Uh-oh.
turtle. There's a reason the turtle comes at night when no one's around.
I thought about that too.
The poor turtle is like, oh, oh my gosh, there's 20 people here and they're shining lights on me. What in the world?
Then again, if it's a tourist thing, they might be used to it by now.
Yeah.
In fact, she might have waited out there at the edge of the water. There they are. Okay, now it's time to go up on the beach.
Yeah, maybe so.
Maybe they get fed or something to get them up there.
Yeah. Escamecca, day 16. Joaquin and Sierra are left alone at camp. And Joaquin is surprised to find out that Sierra can't stand Rodney. Who's like, and of course, you know, you and Rodney, no. Oh.
Exactly. This is one of the things I liked about this episode. I love this scene, as goofy as it was, because he says, I got Tyler. We're good. I mean, he's doing a great job of talking to her, making her feel comfortable. She says later, I felt very comfortable talking to Joaquin. He made a great first impression. And then he goes down, oh, you have a problem with Dan? And she goes, well, I got a problem with everybody over there. But not Rodney, right? You guys, he puts his fingers together. You guys are like this? No. Heck
Like,
no.
If that's a gun, yeah.
I'll take it, but no.
We're like this.
So this is where I feel like it was set up, because shortly thereafter, here comes Rodney.
Yeah.
Because Rodney's like, Joaquin, you need to go make things good with Sierra. I messed up. But I really didn't, but she thinks I messed up. But you need to go make things good with Sierra, and then I'll come in, and then it'll be all hugs, and we'll be all good to go, and we'll just rule the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And I think Joaquin saw Rodney come in and was like, don't come over. Stay over there. You're here. Hey, here's Rodney.
Yeah.
So I was like,
You know,
oh.
And Rodney just didn't say, I said some bad things. I said some bad things about her.
Yeah.
That means he was personal. The stuff he did was personal.
Which she brings up at Tribal. Yep, she says that exactly at Tribal.
Yeah. But hey, she's going to look back on this and remember it for all of her life. Whenever they work together.
It's a prime time story right here. Can't hold grudges. Can't hold grudges.
That's right. I don't think she's buying it, do you?
No, not at all. I think she's much smarter than they give her credit for.
I think I think this is what she hears. She's hearing, let's be buds until I don't need you anymore, and then I'll go back and treat you like crap. That's what she hears Rodney saying.
I think this is why she prefers sometimes to spend more time with horses than guys like Rodney. So, because, I mean, I actually think she was willing to listen to Joaquin. I think he was making ground with her. He was showing her that he could be sympathetic and listen. And then once she saw who his right hand was, oh, that's the other side of you.
Yep. So later that day, Rodney and Mike are walking along the beach. And, boy, I thought they were setting up Rodney to go home.
I kind of did too. But I think the same thing happened week before, or the first episode last week with Lindsay. We'll talk about that.
He's like, I got walked like a yo-yo, man. But we've got to throw this challenge and get rid of Joe.
And as good as that sounds long term, I think every time Rodney said we, I think Mike knew that he wasn't part of that we, because he'd seen Rodney and Joaquin together so much that Mike was in listening mode, but he was also in filtering mode, and he was just reading what Rodney was talking about.
Right.
I mean, it makes good sense. Joe's going to be a challenge threat when they go to the merge. Right.
Now, according to Mike, the entire tribe knew. The entire tribe agreed to throw the challenge, but it didn't. But I'm not. Maybe he meant his entire group, because it didn't look like Joe or Tyler were in on it.
Oh, no, Joe obviously wasn't, because he's the reason they were throwing the challenge. I don't think Tyler was either. Yeah. I agree. I think obviously Joaquin and Rodney and Dan. I saw Dan scene, so that was an extra scene that Mike said everybody knew?
Yes.
That's interesting that Sierra knew that she was okay. But I think at the same time, she also knew she was in a position where she would decide who was going to go home.
Right. She's the swing vote. Yeah, and in a secret scene on CBS YouTube, Dan says the plan is brilliant. Save our alliance on the other side. Get rid of strong players while we have the numbers. Many of you are yelling at me like I would be if I was watching, but this is my game, and this is what is going to get me furthest in the game, and this is the right thing to do.
And that's the reason you play Survivor, for your game. Nobody else's. Now, you think he was talking about Joe at that time, or talking about Joaquin?
Well, he wasn't talking about Joe. Well, yeah. Well, basically, he said we've got 3 strong guys to get rid of: Tyler, Joaquin, and Joe. So to him, it doesn't matter which one, Joaquin or Joe, because he was acting like they were going to get to keep. They were going to continue to throw challenges as long as they were there, so that they could get rid of these strong guys, so they're not there whenever the merge comes.
Right.
You know.
But I think he was. I don't think they ever really thought about Rodney. Now that looking back, because they wanted to keep 5, and I think they were thinking that they felt comfortable with Sierra, and if Sierra came back around once she saw that staying with Blue was her best move, that Rodney would do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were thinking.
Well, maybe not.
You never know. You never know. But I like that. I mean, people are questioning the challenge throw and stuff, and I like that they gave Mike the edit that he was lessening the throwing of the challenge, and the fact that Rodney was doing it to get rid of people he didn't want around, whereas Mike was doing it. They gave him the nicer edit of I'm doing it to save somebody. I don't care. We'll get rid of somebody, but I'm doing it to save my closest ally over there.
Right.
So.
And interestingly enough, Mike keeps saying no one knows how close Kelly and I are.
Right.
Which means Dan doesn't even know. Well, which means Dan doesn't know, because that's what people are probably looking at. Mike and Dan are like this, but I think Mike and Kelly are like that.
Do you think people would have enjoyed Philippines more if they'd have known that Skupin and Lisa were tight the whole time?
I think
and just
so.
Working that angle. I do too, and I wonder if that's why we're getting this sentence. If Mike and Kelly do make it far, and they're down deep secret alliance is what gets them far. But this was one other initial thought that I forgot to write down. When I'm driving, I get these thoughts, and if I don't write them down or record it somehow, I'm going to forget it. But
these are driving thoughts.
This wasn't a driving initial thought. Our initial reaction was, I really like my final 3 picks still.
Who are your final 3? I don't remember.
Shireen, final 3, but doesn't get enough votes. She's 3rd. Joe, 2nd place, and Mike wins.
Weren't mine Jennifer and Haley? No, mine was Max.
Yours was Max, Jen,
and Lindsay.
So you've got a 1 out of 3 shot
still.
still.
Jen. There's still hope for Jen. All right. So what do you think of the old memory game for immunity?
Just thought I'd bring down the mood for a minute there while we're moving along.
What do you think of the old memory game for Immunity Challenge?
I think it was great because it balanced the playing field a little. In
Yeah.
fact, I think it played to the women more than the men.
Oh, really? Because they should have lost.
Yes.
I mean, this was the most awkward throwing of a challenge. Goodness gracious.
Just
It's like,
write her a note,
I'm trying to help you.
but in a quiet voice.
Yes. I'm gonna call out the names. Hey, Probst, don't listen to this.
But it's so funny because he didn't have to act that he was disappointed that he didn't get it. He was disappointed that she's not getting it.
I know.
He's like, come on,
His
Kelly.
head. Oh man. Yeah, it was like the worst acting. It was so funny watching all of this. But anyway.
Well, Probst did a good job of not reacting because you know he heard it.
Yes.
You know
Oh,
he
yeah.
was right there. So,
Yeah.
but I loved Mike's final attempt. If that was the last one, that just do what I do. I'm gonna switch the bottles. You switch the bottles. Just
Right.
do what. And sure enough, she's watching him and
Oh,
watching him switching.
Yeah.
Done. Now my question is, why is Kelly the one with the most likely concussion and the head banging? Stitch is still in her head. Why is she going last? Because I guarantee you, I would be willing to bet somebody's points that Kelly told the group, look, guys, my memory skills aren't great. And if I did get a concussion, they're probably at 0. Because after each time she put them up there, oh, I'm sure it's wrong.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I felt so bad for her.
Yeah. What they edited out was he goes, so do you think you're right this time? Well, I just did what Mike told me to.
I don't know, Mike, is it right this time?
Oh, that was funny. All right, so Probst is right there hearing all of it, and Nagarote wins immunity. And seriously, this made a huge impact on Kelly, so much so that she even said that she has never trusted anyone more in her entire life than when she felt this way towards Mike.
And what a great feeling to know that the guy worked that hard, and Mike worked really hard to keep her safe in this challenge.
Yeah.
But that's got to be a great feeling, and that's why I really think these two are going to go deep. You know, I mean, it's a great storyline that he threw that challenge just to save her, and that's his mind. He went along with throwing the challenge to save her. But
Yeah.
I wonder if he'd have done it if Rodney hadn't brought it up, because he really wanted to keep Kelly in the game.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. It does sound like Rodney's the one that came up with it, just for a different reason. So.
Yeah, they got a good facial shot of Joe because he almost looked like they just threw that challenge to vote me out.
Yeah.
His face was just sad. It's almost like he knew.
Yeah. Well, back at camp, Mike is talking about power couples must be split up. And you're laughing
Sorry.
about what?
I was looking at my notes, and I wrote, my first line says Carolyn destroys Rodney because Rodney, like, he didn't know where to run. He didn't realize he had to pull the lever. He's like, I'm going to lose anyway because I'm not supposed to win. Oh, okay, I'll just run over there and start putting things up on the wall. He just looked lost. I'm sorry. We can go back to Eskameka.
No, that's fine. So Mike is concerned about Rodney, but then he says power couples must be split up before they can start making power moves. And and honestly, I wonder if people see him and Dan though as a power couple.
Right. They seem to be together a lot, talking a lot. I think what bothered Mike the most was that I think he thought that Joaquin was going to be more strategic than Rodney. And it's not Rodney being the smart one meeting up with somebody else. It's the smart person on the other side pulling one of Mike's alliance over to another alliance entirely. Because he mentioned Joaquin is pulling him day by day. He's pulling him a little closer all the time. Yeah. And that tells me that he sees that Joaquin could be a player. You know, he was talking to Sierra real well and getting her in, but Joaquin made a big mistake. I mean, the lines were drawn at the shuffle. Why didn't he talk to Joe? I just don't understand why he didn't go to Joe.
Yeah. I don't know, man. We get a lot of Rodney and Joaquin talking about this is a walk in the park. There's no way this plan could possibly go wrong. We are the animals of Survivor. We are the kings. East Coast baby.
That's entertainment. Pure entertainment.
Yeah. So we get Mike, Dan, and Joe. Mike, Sierra is really mad at Dan. And then Joe goes, and he goes, no, I don't think you understand. She's really mad at Dan. And Dan's like, and I've done nothing but grovel.
Imagine the woman more angry than you've ever seen a woman before. And that's the target right there.
Yeah.
I like Mike's first line. I think it was his first line. He said, "What are you?" or "Where are you in this?" or "What are you thinking?" Which is a great line to go up to somebody that you may not be aligned with yet, but to ask what they're thinking. Where are you with all this?
Yeah.
So I like that. And Joe admits he's got limited options. You know, he knows he's at the bottom. Joaquin and Tyler, he's not able to talk to him because every time he goes to Joaquin, Rodney comes up. He's got this puppy dog right beside him, so he's kind of limited. And if somebody comes up that seems to be in a powerful position, you just got to take. Unless he goes out and finds the blue idol.
Right.
Hello.
Right. By the way, here's a tweet. It's from Mike Holloway, one of our listeners. Not sure
Man,
who
that
he
guy,
is.
that guy again.
Yeah. Survivor Talk. Competition is much harder with no food, no sleep, and a concussion. That girl Kelkel is a beast at Remington 231. So, hey, she may have actually had a concussion if he's saying she had one.
I think she did. I keep meaning to ask my daughter if how reliable. I heard that they tested her speech, listened for slurred speech and delayed speech. They did not do the eye test. I heard that they did do the speech test, and I was going to ask my daughter, she's a trainer, how reliable that is. But I know she never uses it or trusts it because she deals with athletes whose eyes are open, or if they're not open, they're going to the hospital. But usually their eyes are open. She does the eye test.
What you should ask Bailey is, Bailey, how dependable is the test of continue with the challenge, and if you get dizzy, we'll know you have a concussion? That's the question you need to be asking her.
I was thinking that if that was me, and he said, if you look dizzy or wobbly, we're going to...
I have lost David.
Stop. I would...
There he goes.
Frozen. Okay. My thought was if that was me being asked that question, I would say, how would you know I'm walking wobbly if I keep running into these posts at waist level and I just had a concussion? So unless I fall over and I'm not breathing, don't stop the challenge.
That's right. All right, so Dan says we need to bring her back in the fold. And deep down in Mike's heart, he's going, will you just let me handle it? Okay. So Dan says to Sierra, and I quote, I screwed up. And then later on, now close your mouth, open your ears, and watch what happens. And then the very next line we get is Sierra saying, I hate Dan.
Okay, I'm gonna use one more baseball analogy. Okay. Here's Dan on the mound. All right, Sierra, here's the ball. I'm gonna toss it right where the bat's gonna swing. All you have to do is bring the bat down. I'm gonna toss it right there. Here you go. Bam! Right in the side of the head with the ball. Right at her. I told you I was gonna throw it. You just gotta wait for it.
Now so you just sit there and let us big boys play.
Now we got to talk to Dan after the season. We got to hook up and see if we can get his explanation for all this and see how his wife feels about all these comments.
His wife's going, no, his wife and Sierra now have lunch on a daily basis. No, I'm just kidding. His wife's, finally someone knows what I've been dealing with.
I want to go to one of these viewing parties because he posts pictures from the viewing parties that he has, and she's there. His wife is there, so I'd be interested to see how many bruises he's got on his arm.
Yeah. All right, then you get Joe talking to Sierra on the beach. By the way, is it just me, or do you kind of feel like Joe's kind of coasting through this game, in fact, getting quite lucky? Joe is only still in this game, from what we can tell. I mean, it just seems kind of like by the luck of other people's decisions.
Well, he also bonded. Well, his age helped too because he bonded with Jen and Haley, and that kind of saved him in that group. But he has been fortunate, and we're not getting a great deal of him blazing his own path. I agree. We're seeing a lot of him being in the right place at the right time, winning at the right time, losing when someone else was going to go. So I'm not going to disagree with you. No.
All right. Oh, Mike Holloway has a comment to what I was asking. Uh, he didn't hashtag it, so I can't put it up on the screen. But it says, Survivor Talk, the medical team was overboard professional. Many eyes to make sure Remington 231, it's Kelly, was totally fine to compete. So there you go.
Well, I can guarantee you that Ed Remington was not going to step out of the challenge, and I think he'd agree with that. She was no way. But you know what I like about Kelly, besides that she's on my tribe? I like that Kelly looks like she's just gotten out there. She doesn't look like she's been out there for 16 days. You know, some of those people, they just look so refreshed and calm and not affected by the situation. It's great.
Yep. Mike, it's a whole lot more fun for us to make fun of it if you don't tell us exactly that we're wrong. I much prefer the scenario where they just told her to walk around, and if she falls, then... No, I'm just kidding. It's all good. All right, Tribal Council.
Hold on.
Oh, okay, I'll hold on.
You skipped my favorite, the most important scene in the whole show.
And what was that, David?
Joe and Sierra at the beach.
All right, tell me about it.
Joe's comment to her is, "So how are you?" I'm sorry, but women like to be asked that question.
Yes, they do.
That was a very positive question.
Did Dan tell you that?
The start of a very positive conversation. And she admits that she's the type, that's a personal comment she made, that she plays with I'm the type of person that's going to play with their heart and their head.
Yeah.
But, that kind of decision could get me hurt in this game. And he's like, I agree, of course, that is right. And it's just, he's not telling her to listen. He's going to tell her what's right and what's wrong. He's just nodding and agreeing. Right. And I think this could have gone a little ways in helping Sierra make her decision. Now, what I really liked about this scene was that they showed Mike coming to them. But if you look in the background really well, if you blow it up and look in the back, you see Dan. And he looks like he's scratching his back on a tree. But if you zoom in, you see ropes around Dan where Mike tied him to a tree so he wouldn't come over and get involved in the conversation.
Yes.
Mike has finally figured out how to keep Dan away from Sierra, and it's to tie him to a tree.
Yes. Mike has a new use for Dan's buff. Stuff it in Dan's mouth when they're around Sierra. Don't let him talk around Sierra.
That's right.
All right.
Now I'm ready to go to Tribal Council.
Well, but you know what? Your point about Joe actually is a good counterpoint to what I said, because this is a smart move by Joe. By getting on that personal level with her, it does make it harder for her to vote him off. And also she had someone who genuinely was concerned about her.
And that's what she was looking for, because she did not feel that from the other guys. And she talks about that at Tribal Council.
And he wasn't hard to look at.
Right.
I would assume that she felt that way. So
she might have, yeah.
So Tribal Council, we get to hear about Blue Collar Discord. And then Rodney just, let's just lay it all out there.
Hold on. Before you get there, I do have two quick lines before that, because I wrote that line down, too, that you're getting ready to mention. I love that line.
I will even let you say the line, but go ahead.
But it's almost like, I like when he talks about the division stuff, and he goes to Tyler, and Tyler says, I didn't have to do anything, which might offend some people that have been out there working and socializing and try to strategize the game, that Tyler didn't have to do anything, and I'm already in this great seat. So,
I forgot who Tyler was until he spoke at Tribal Council.
Yes, and so he didn't get any confessionals, I don't think, which is good for my team. And then Sierra talks about being mistreated. But so I can do the line that Rodney said?
Yes, please.
Well, Jeff, I got 3 new friends over here. And over here I got 3 people who've been driving me nuts. So I got to do what's best for me. And that's probably paraphrasing a little bit what he said, but he basically said the worst thing you could possibly say in his situation. He's cutting off the 3 people that he's been aligned with that are driving him nuts. Yes. He's bringing in 3 new friends that the other group was hoping he wouldn't, and he's admitting that I'm just going to do what's best for me the whole time. I'm out for number 1. And I'm like, wow, he really said that out loud in front of everybody.
Yes. I think Probst was even surprised.
Oh,
actually, Probst was probably upset because Probst was doing everything in his power to get Sierra to vote the way he wanted her to vote.
Did you think that?
Sierra, now please don't vote against your original tribe. I mean, Sierra. And then to Mike. Mike is kind of like losing a girlfriend, and you got to fight really hard to get her back.
We've got some flowers in the auction coming up, maybe
Yes.
some chocolate candy. But that was, yeah, the edit seemed to be driving that point home. You've got 5 right here, 4 right here. That's a strong number. But I like the way Mike finished the tribal council when he said,
Absolutely.
you have to be able to trust people. You just got to rely on that trust, but you never know who you can trust until you walk away from tribal council.
That's right.
Whether you walk that way by yourself or walk that way with everybody else.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what it comes down to. You just don't know who you can ever trust, which is what's so great about the show.
Yep. So Rodney is totally blindsided. In fact, Rodney pulled an Al Gore and asked for a recount. And but Probe said no. And Tyler was just looking like, oh crud, I am so out of the loop.
He was trying to put on a happy face, but he's like, oh yeah, you're exactly right. I'm so out of that loop. Wow, I did not know where that was going.
Yeah. So all in all, I thought it was an average episode, and David thought it was a phenomenal episode.
I thought it was the best one of the season so far.
Best one of the season, David
I loved
said.
it. I loved it.
Right. Well, I'm not saying it wasn't. It's interesting how, like, after I watched it the second time, my thought was, okay, well, that was decent. And you watched it once and thought it was amazing. So it just goes to show you that, you just never know. It affects people different ways.
I thought you were going to say you never know about people. I thought David was one way, but I guess he's another.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We're going to get to feedback now, and then after that, Miko's Challenge. Don't forget, if you're playing the D&D Survivor Challenge, those points will be updated on the website and on our Facebook group. Let's see, facebook.com/groups/Survivor Talk. That'll get updated there as well. At least your points will. But if you're going off of our website, they'll be updated as soon as Shayna can get them to us. But first, let's get to our feedback for last night's episode. We have Werner from South Africa, and I will be reading his. Hi, Dwaine and David. You guys rock. Well, thank you. Just want to thank you for keeping this great podcast going. I know it must take a lot of time and sacrifice. Smiley face. Yes, it does, and that's why becoming a patron is such a wonderful thing. I have a few thoughts and a question. Rodney, wow. It was so sad seeing Rodney bonding with Joaquin at the expense of Mike. Mike, you will have more fans because of those rude comments. That is exactly why they cast Rodney, so I guess it's good TV. That just shows me again that people definitely get used to the cameras after a while, and then they just speak without thinking. I respect you, Mike. At the same time, the tides drastically turned in Mike's favor. He has the majority alliance on his current tribe, and Kelly is waiting on the other side. Add to that, if Joe wants to keep working with Mike, No Collar will unite with Mike's... Well, hold on. If Joe wants to keep working with Mike, No Collar... Oh, there's a comma there and it threw me off. I'm sorry. No Collar would unite with Mike's blue guys minus Rodney. So I will now read that again in a more understandable way since I totally blew it. I apologize. If Joe wants to keep working with Mike, No Collar will unite with Mike's blue guys minus Rodney, and we will see a power alliance wiping out White Collar. In the next episode, I'm looking forward to see Tyler work his way into some kind of position. He will have his hands full, and I'm looking forward to seeing him work something out. I think he is used to people coming to him and engaging with him. I doubt whether he will step out, become vulnerable, and work himself into an alliance. I have one question, he asks. Have you guys seen enough from Joe in terms of strategy to think of him as a possible winner? I haven't seen him scrambling or make sense of his position and then working himself into a better position. Maybe in that sense he relates to Tyler a bit. My opinion is that someone like Jen or Mike will outsmart Joe as the game draws to an end. What's your feeling? Cheerio, Werner from South Africa. Werner, I completely agree with you. It's kind of what I was trying to say earlier. I haven't really seen Joe playing a strategic game, and the couple times I have seen him play strategic games, they really weren't all that good. So I kind of agree with you.
They didn't seem long-term. I think what it was kind of in-the-moment type decisions. But I agree that it's more like a fortunate thing.
Yeah. So, all right, that was Werner from South Africa. Thank you, Werner. Next we have Wendy from South Dakota. And Wendy is, where is my Wendy thing? Oh, I guess you can't see it. It's above my alien ears. But Wendy is from Zell Farms in South Dakota, one of the farm girls. Go ahead, David.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I wanted to apologize for the noise on my last feedback. I was flying my plane while recording my feedback.
Wait a second.
Excuse me for a minute. Excuse me for a minute. That's probably the coolest thing I've ever read in the feedback. I'm going to read it again. Hi, everyone. I wanted to apologize for the noise on my last feedback. I was flying my plane while recording my feedback.
Oh, wait. You mean she was actually piloting the plane?
That's what it reads like to me.
When you first read that, I thought she was like playing with a, toy plane. But she was actually flying her plane.
You know what? I think you're right. I bet she was doing a remote control plane.
Well, now what?
No,
Wendy?
but why would she do that while she was recording a feedback?
Yeah.
Unless somebody was buzzing it by her head.
But if she was flying while recording, is that safe? I'm like, I appreciate the feedback, but you could wait till you land.
I think we'll get some clarification later this week as to what.
Go ahead.
Also, I forgot to say something about Rodney. Wow, just wow. That seems to be a thread about Rodney.
Yeah.
I know you aren't supposed to celebrate too much after a challenge, but I couldn't help but be happy for the red team. I also felt like it was more of a yay than an in-your-forget that he needs Sierra more than she needs him. I feel that throwing a challenge is never a good idea. Why do people always think that they're the exception to the rule? I was disappointed that Mike went along with it, but at least he has a good reason. That's why he's the exception.
Yeah.
You didn't lose me, did you?
I can still hear you.
Okay. I was happy to see Joaquin go, but happier to see Rodney's face after the votes were read. He kept looking like that even as Joaquin walked up to Jeff. Rodney kept looking at Jeff like he expected him to say, "Yo, bro, just kidding. He's not going home." But obviously that didn't happen. Hilarious. I love that Joe stayed. Joe, Mike, Will, and Kelly are my faves. Take care, all. Wendy.
Awesome. All right, next we have Andy from Missouri, and I will be reading Andy. Andy Westover is our friend from Missouri who keeps up with the D&D Survivor Challenge on the Facebook group. By the way, if you're not a member of the Facebook group, get on there. David and I have this goal, and we are getting close to it. So join the Facebook group. Lots of good conversation. I'm not sure where to go with this tonight, as I feel this season can go so many different directions, which is great going into next week's Merge episode. Ergo, I think I will just share some of my general thoughts and observations. Number 1. I love that we're going into the Merge without just a couple dominant alliances. I can realistically see next week's vote being a total train wreck, with several different people getting votes. I'm going to attribute that to the 3-tribe dynamic, which has left us with what I believe to be numerous pairs rather than solid, larger alliances. With so many pairs, or trios, they really could combine in any number of ways, which should be exciting. I'm kind of hoping for Jen and her group to unite with Mike and his group to go against some stragglers, though this seems unlikely. Number 2. Mike had a great episode, though it appears from secret scenes and interviews that Rodney may have been a moving force behind the challenge throw. Mike seems to be getting the credit. Either way, he was able to take that and then execute the blindside on Joaquin, which made for a strong move. Regardless of how the alliances shake out, I think Mike will be safe, because most people seem to generally like and appreciate Mike, which never hurts. He's in a solid pair with Dan, and it seems that Kelly will be with Mike post-merge. This could potentially help bring in some stragglers like Shireen. I also think Rodney will likely rejoin Mike. They've had their spats in the past and seem to get over them, and I think we'll see that again. Number 3, Jen and Haley. These girls seem to have relationships with just about everyone and have alienated no one. This is truly amazing. Going down the roster, I could literally see every individual or tandem choosing to go with them. I will be interested to see how they make their picks in this episode. As it will likely dictate the rest of the game for better or worse. Number 4, Tyler took a hit this week, but will have his choice of alliances going forward, though his placement will not likely be great within either. It seems that he was tight with Carolyn, and Carolyn seems reasonably tight with the no-collar group, so that would be the easy choice. However, in that very female-dominant group, I think he'd be seen as a huge threat within the alliance, but also by the other alliance, and draw fire. He would probably be better served by sticking with the likely Meathead alliance, where he is less likely to stand out as a threat to either. Whatever his choice, I hope to see him start to assert himself in one way or another. Number 5, Carolyn. No matter how much I try, I just cannot seem to like Carolyn. She's played a strong strategic game to this point and has always found herself on the right side of the numbers. However, she just rubs me the wrong way in the social game. The way she treated Shireen in the last episode was just tactless, immature, and unnecessary. I think she has just become too cocky and comfortable, and the minimal power that she has wielded has gone to her head. I know this sounds harsh, and I'm sure she's a wonderful person in real life, but I think I look forward to her demise in the game more than any other. Going into this merge, I am very happy with the group that we have left as a whole. They all bring an interesting dynamic and unpredictability, which is great to watch. Andy in Cameron, Missouri. Thank you, Andy. Great feedback. Great feedback. All right. One more feedback, and that is Will the Giant Ninja from Wonder Lake.
Page 1.
Oh,
What's up,
boy.
guys? It's Will from Wonder Lake again, a.k.a. the Giant Ninja. So this was a strange episode for me. I took my family out to dinner. Well, that's why it was strange, because you probably had turtle soup, didn't you? I took my family out to dinner last night, and around 7 p.m., my son tells me, "Oh yeah, the satellite box was unplugged, and I didn't plug it back in." Oh my, that's interesting. Oh, thanks. So we can leave and get home in a half hour and watch the last half of the episode, or I can miss it. Ordinarily, it wouldn't be much of an issue. I could just watch it on CBS.com the next day, but I had to be downtown on a case this morning, which takes more than half my day. I just didn't have time to watch the episode until tonight, which meant missing your deadline. Oh, then why am I reading this?
Because we are full of grace. Hey, we've been shown grace, so we show grace.
Okay, whatever.
Wait, whatever.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Kind of kidding. Okay, so I checked iTunes this morning, and the episode was up. I bought it and downloaded it to my phone 1 year ago. I watched an episode on a plane in order to make your feedback deadline. I do remember that. Remember, I'm the lone member of the Mile High Club. And this year I watched one on a train. I suppose next year I'll have to watch one on an automobile, no? Well, what do you know? Mr. NYC got voted out. Serves him right for that floppy so-called pizza. All right, now.
Wait a second now.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing wrong with New York-style pizza.
Nothing wrong with Chicago-style pizza either, though.
Yeah, we like both.
Yeah.
We like it free, too, but anyway. And we're apparently merging, sorry.
And our address is.
And we're apparently merging next week. That means it's time for the Giant Ninja's Power Rankings. Remember, these rankings aren't who I think will win. They're who I think is in the best position to win if they play their hand right from this point forward. Interestingly, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm sure that Mike K will tell me if I am, the first 3 times we started with 3 tribes, we swapped at 14 left, like this time, and merged at 11. This time we're merging at 12. So without further ado, Power Rankings, TGN style. Number 12, Rodney. He's alienated just about every tribe mate he's had, though in fairness he's played with many of the same players. He could switch to the no-collar alliance, but NCA really doesn't need him. They should have numbers without Rodney, and obviously Jen isn't a fan of his. What a tool.
That's right. That's right.
That's a good point.
In fact, I bet they showed us that so that just to prepare us for what's going to be happening later on. I bet Rodney's out on his own.
Yep, he might even be the first one out after the merge. So continuing on, page 2. Number 11, Shireen. She is a woman without an alliance. She's on her own. Carolyn doesn't want to play with her. Tyler doesn't want to play with her. Her SWAT tribe doesn't like her. But the fractured blue collars will need her as a number. And the only reason anybody will be voting for her is if she annoys them. If she can keep her head down, she can survive quite a few votes while the sands shift. Then maybe she can play her way into a power spot. If Shireen makes it to the final tribal council, it will be based entirely on her post-merge game, not on anything she's done thus far. I think that's a great point because she is definitely obviously playing the post-merge game next week, but she's been playing it as of the start of this week.
Right, right.
Number 10, Other Will. Can we all yet agree that Other Will was right to vote out Vince? Well, I'd agree because I said it about 4 weeks ago. Yes, I completely agree with you, Will.
Actually, David, you have said it every week since it happened.
I need to keep putting that as initial reaction to mine. He's at a power spot, but he's fourth on an alliance of 4. The NCA will need to keep Carolyn, pick up Tyler, and maybe pick up a roving Rodney/Sierra for a vote. But they should be able to control this game. Other Will has an excellent chance to come in 4th, but almost zero chance to come in 3rd or better. So I was going to see if you wanted to talk about what could happen next week, just some random guessing.
Yeah.
I think Joe is going to be appreciative of being saved this week because he probably figured out that he was a goner. And Mike and Carolyn and Dan saved him. And I wonder if he's going to go to Jen and Haley and say, hey, these guys saved me, so I feel like I owe them at least 1 vote. So why don't you 2 and Kelly come with me and we'll join these guys and wipe out the rest of them.
Yeah.
And go from there. It could be interesting. Number 9, Sierra. Wow, how much must Sierra hate Rodney? She had to choose between aligning with Team Rodney or Team Dan, and she chose the Danimal. Lucky for him. If she stays with the blue collars, they've got a puncher's chance. But if she's eager to play with new people, who she's never even met yet, they could be in serious trouble. The fact that she has to play with people who she doesn't like or who she doesn't know is why she's so far down. She can get far in the game, but folks will have to be impressed with her post-merge game to vote for her. Number 8 is Kelly. Mike told us that if his tribe could throw a few challenges, Kelly might make the merge. Gee, you don't say. If Kelly's tribe doesn't go to tribal council, Kelly won't be voted out. Boom. Kelly's in a decent spot. She's tight with Mike and Dan, but Sierra doesn't seem to be 100% blue collar, and Rodney has been alienated. Kelly and the Blues will have to pick up the stragglers for Kelly to go deep. If they can do that, a Mike, Dan, Kelly final is possible. Wow. And Kelly might get the no-collar votes in that scenario, but I don't see her beating Mike or getting to the end without him. Good points.
Yeah.
Page 3. Number 7, Carolyn. Can you say hidden immunity idol? That's what she's got going for her right now. She thinks she's in with the NCA, and Tyler is tight with her, giving her new alliance to numbers and both idols. But I still don't think she's long for this game. Jen and Haley are going to be sharing with Joe how quick Carolyn wants to dump Max and Shireen. They won't trust her, and she'll be left out on her own. I think that's an excellent point about Carolyn. She just showed that she will step away from her alliance and vote with what suits her best. Good point. Number 6, Haley. She's playing her game perfectly. Nobody is out to get her, and she should be able to slide right to the end of the game. But if she slides to the end of the game, it'll be with Jen, Joe, and Other Will, and she finishes 3rd in that scenario.
Right.
The only way Haley can win the game is if she starts playing. She's going to have to turn on Jen and Joe if she wants to come out on top, and I don't see her doing that. No. Number 5 is Tyler. Aside from being on the wrong side of the numbers at the last tribal council, Tyler has been shown doing everything right. There's nothing about Tyler's situation that I don't like right now. As long as he can smooth things over with Joe and join up with Carolyn and the NCA, I think Tyler can go far in this game and be a threat in the individual immunity challenges. The worst thing he has going for him is that he's a threat. Folks may want to get rid of him for that reason.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, Dan. Danimal. Merge, baby. Way to go. The name we shall not say on the air is bound to make fun of me for my rooting interest, but who cares? I'm loving watching you play the game, and I hope you go far. You're a surprising threat in the challenges. You're funny, you're excited to be there, and you're giving good confessionals. All great things for a survivor. Try not to... Here's the but. Try not to alienate your non-alliance members so much. That's your biggest weakness so far. I'm sure you're nodding your head right now saying, I agree with you. I screwed up. And if you
Yes,
want to see, if you
Dan
want to
is
see,
saying that, and then he goes, "Now, Will, just open your eyes. Go ahead."
make sure your satellite box is turned on
Yeah.
and watch. And if you want to hear more or read more between Will and Dan, go to our Facebook group and join.
They do tend to have conversations there, don't they?
Yes, they do. Number 3, Mike. The big Texan is in a better spot than Dan simply because he's better liked. If he can make it to the end, his social game might win him this thing. He annoyed most of the blue collars early, but we're learning that the blue collars were so dysfunctional that anyone could have annoyed them. If he gets along with everyone going forward, he might just win this thing. I was wondering when they were showing Sierra at camp with the new tribe people or the old tribe people if she was noticing that nobody was arguing.
Right.
There was no just discernment going on, no loud discussions. Interesting.
Right. As soon as Lindsay left.
Yep.
Yep.
Continuing on with page 4. Number 2, Joe. He could have easily gone home this week, but only because he's such a threat to win the game. Now that he's back with his alliance, if he can hold the numbers, he's got a great shot at winning. Really, there's nothing about Joe's game that I haven't been impressed with, save for his second level strategy. He has first level strategy, but when he tries to think about the game on another level, he gets out over his skis. He's not that player, so he shouldn't play that game. If he can play the boring post-merge game, he's in a great spot to win. Almost as great as, number 1, Jen.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Jen could so win this game.
But you're so hoping, too. So, number 1, Jen. Hidden immunity idol. Power alliance. Alpha spot in a power couple.
Yep.
Funny, sarcastic, likable, challenge beast. That's a great point because that's getting more and more obvious that she is killing it in challenges.
Yep.
Not only is Jen in the best spot to win this game right now, she's my overall pick. If anyone is going to turn on the NCA, it's going to be Jen. Which is kind of funny because if nobody turns on the NCA, she's in a great spot to win the million. But she's going to be the one to flip the game and put herself in an even better spot. Oh, and we also got her winner's quote, which is, I realize that my odds of winning the $1 million aren't so bad. I might just take home the $1 million. Somebody get that girl a jet ski.
There you go.
Well, that's all for now. I'll talk to you next week when everything I just said is proven completely wrong. Later, peeps. Will at the Giant Ninja.
Well, I hope it isn't all proven completely wrong. Thank you, Will. Thank you, everybody, for your feedback. Thank you very much. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for Miko's challenge. Da 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 da. Ba da ba da ba da. Ba da ba ba. All right. You ready, David? You
Ready.
want to go first or second? Your choice.
I went first last time. You go first this time.
All right, go ahead.
I thought I asked you first last time, but I'll ask you first this time. I don't remember, but I don't have a pen, so you mark down what we get right.
What?
Quote number 1.
Quote number 1.
We're having a Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day. Somebody said we're having a Sunday fun day?
I'm sorry. It doesn't include the letter A. We're having Sunday fun day. That's the quote.
Jen.
No. Who talked about Sundays?
I don't remember.
Rodney talked about Sundays and Mike.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking ice cream sundae.
Oh, okay. I thought you said they didn't talk about the dessert.
Quote number 1. I am feeling so confident that I can see my hand being raised.
Like Rocky Balboa. That would be Rodney.
Yes, it was Rodney. And Miko says, I really wish they got rid of him instead of Joaquin. He's so annoying.
Yeah, but he's good TV.
Did he not put anything beside my answer?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, so you got that one right. I got my first one wrong. Your turn.
Okay. Quote number 2. I could tell from the first time I saw you.
Oh, I could tell from the first time I saw you. I remember that being said.
It's not something that
Hold
you
on.
and I said to each other. It's not something we said to each other.
Oh, that was either Rodney or Joaquin, but I don't remember which one. Would he do 3 Rodneys in a row? I'm going to say Rodney. And it's probably wrong. It's probably Joaquin.
He didn't on my page. It's Joaquin. Joaquin to Rodney about feeling a connection, I suppose. I swear this felt like witnessing two elementary schoolers confessing their love to each other for the first time.
Nice.
Oh, I almost died laughing.
All right, quote number 2. I'm 0 for 2, and you're going for 2 for 2. I am definitely scared to death.
See, that was Kelly, because she said it in the previously on. And that's kind of why I knew she was going to get in trouble or that was going to come up again. It was Kelly, right?
Yes, previously on. This honestly made me worried for her safety, but I was glad it was added only because we had to be reminded why Mike would want to throw a challenge, and also why I feel like Mike being a part of it shouldn't be held against him, at least as far as editing goes.
That's what I think the edit was showing too, that he shouldn't be reamed for throwing the challenge when he was trying to save somebody. Oh, we didn't even say the line that he said after the challenge. I felt like a part of me inside of me died after throwing that challenge, and that's what a real fan would feel like. I hated to do it. It's almost like he felt the game lost respect for him because he threw the challenge. But that's how I would think I would feel too if I went out there and threw a challenge in Survivor. Why would you ever want to throw a challenge in Survivor? But he did it for what I think the edit's trying to say is the right reasons. I can't believe I forgot that line.
All right, let's see if I can get this one right.
Quote number 3. Power couples have to be split up.
That was Mike.
There you go.
Yay!
Now, is your camera turned off, or am I just not seeing your camera?
I think I might have turned it off because, nope, it's just not working for some reason.
Okay.
So let me go to settings and change it.
Could be me.
Do anything? Nope, you still can't see me?
No, I can hear you fine, though.
All right, well, that's all that matters. All right, YouTubers. Quote number 3. I have to screw some people over eventually.
Ooh. See, I think it's... I was thinking about this when I was thinking about the episode that I didn't remember a whole lot from Nagarote, so it's probably... Most of these quotes are probably going to be from the Blue Tribe. I have to screw some over eventually. Oh, wow. I have no idea who said that. But Rodney said most everything else, so Rodney.
I hate you, David.
Did he really? I don't remember him saying that at all.
About his future game plan. This might be a bit repetitive, but I really hope he's the one getting screwed.
Let's see, Joe and Tyler didn't talk.
Shut up. I don't want to
talk. I don't remember. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
You don't trust me anymore, do you?
Kids that are listening, don't tell your friends to shut up. Okay, go ahead, David. Quote number 4.
What do I have to change?
That would be Shireen.
Excellent. Shireen, about no one wanting to play with her. I love this whole segment because even though I'm not really sure how relatable Shireen really is compared to some other people, but as a whole, I love this kind of touch in editing because it feels so much like old school character development, and yet it has some importance in the game as well. Will she be able to adapt or not? This is another reason why I love the episode. I absolutely agree, Miko. Absolutely agree. I love that.
All right.
And I love the old school he throws down. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Quote number 4. We have this game on lock.
It's Rodney. It's got to be Rodney.
Yes.
See, I could throw Rodney at almost every quote of mine and probably have a good shot of getting it right.
I really think Miko likes you a lot, David.
Miko has good taste.
Yeah, whatever. Miko is throwing you softballs. Go ahead, David.
That's funny. I was about to say, here comes a softball. Are you ready? Just drop the bat, and I'll toss it right where the bat's going to be. Quote number 5. It was like David and Goliath.
That was Haley.
That was Haley about the reward challenge. That was probably one of the more exciting challenges of the season for me simply because of the fact that the underdogs won.
Right.
Overall, I wish most of the people from this tribe got further than the other tribe. I think Miko liked this episode as much as I did.
Yeah.
Because I completely agree. It was a great challenge to finish.
All right, here we go. Quote number 5. I got to put myself in the best position and look at the numbers.
See, that sounds like what Dan said, but that was in that extra scene that wasn't on the show.
Maybe Miko watches the extra scenes.
No, I don't think he's done that to us, has he?
Who knows what
Yeah.
he's done to us?
Read the quote again.
I got to put myself in the best position and look at the numbers.
Rodney. I don't know. I'm just going to start throwing out Rodney if I don't know who said it.
I freaking hate you.
He spoke. He spoke half the lines in the show. He spoke. I mean, hardly anybody else got a word to speak in edgewise.
4 out of 5 of your quotes have been Rodney.
You know what? I bet Miko thought you were getting the softballs, so he gave them to. He gave you the softballs, and he think. Anyway, I'm not going to say.
There have been some easy ones for me. Go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Quote number 6. It makes me sick to my stomach.
That was Mike.
No, it was Sierra talking about her old tribe makes her feel.
Oh, I thought it was Mike talking about throwing the challenge.
No, he said a little piece of me died inside of me.
Thank you, David. You don't have to show how much smarter you are than me.
Oh, well, we just talked about it, so I just thought I'd remind you that we just talked about it.
Quote number 6. It could change the whole game.
I'll just say Rodney, because I don't know who said that either.
Finally, you get one wrong.
Hey.
Sierra said that. Sierra.
Oh, that's right.
About which way to vote. Oh, by the way, on that last one, I got to put myself in the best position. Rodney, Miko says, about working with Sierra again. I think it's interesting that Rodney keeps getting these confessionals that basically make a lot of sense, but yet he keeps failing to make it work for himself.
Huh.
All right, go ahead. Quote number 7.
Quote number 7. We can't lose Sierra.
It was either Dan or Mike, and I'm going to say it was Mike.
No.
It was Dan.
It's actually Joaquin to Rodney.
Oh, that's right.
I think it's and Miko says, I think it's interesting how he recognized Sierra's power position, whereas it almost felt like Rodney was still kind of dismissing her. That's exactly right. That's another thing Joaquin should have told Rodney not to go near Sierra at all, just like Mike was doing with Dan.
This is my worst showing ever in a Miko's challenge.
You want me to miss the next one for you? Do you want me to throw this challenge for you? Here, let me just give you the answers and you turn the letters around. You'll get it right.
Quote number 7.
I'll give you every castaway with the right ones so you get it right.
Every family isn't perfect. I hope you heard that because I'm not saying it again.
Joe said that. Joe said that at Tribal Council.
Of course he did.
Because Probst was asking about if he saw any cracks in the blue collars.
At Tribal about the dysfunctional blue collars.
See, I'm a good listener. And you need to listen more.
You only watched it once, and I watched it twice, and you're still kicking my butt. I hate this.
Okay, I have a confessional.
You have a confession?
I have a confession, yes.
You have a confessional?
I went back and watched Tribal Council again because I wanted to write that quote down. So I did watch the whole Tribal Council. I will admit. Twice. Okay. Quote number 8. You ready?
Yes. I just read your quote number 8. It's ridiculous. Go ahead.
So that's cool. That's your quote number 8.
No, it's not, David.
Yes, it is. I'll show it to you afterwards.
So
but it makes sense.
Cool.
Think about it. So that's cool.
Jen.
Yes! Yes! You got it right. That was Jen about her chances of winning Survivor being much better than a turtle's chance of living. Yes, I know it's generic, but could you honestly imagine anyone more fitting saying that? Jen is awesome. That's from Miko.
All right, David, this last quote is a very difficult one for you.
Oh, boy. I got my thinking cap on.
I didn't have to do anything.
Let me see. Who only had one line in the whole show? That would be Tyler.
Yes, you got 7 out of 8.
Really?
Yeah. How many quotes?
I thought I missed 2.
No.
I didn't have a pen. I would say you probably got like 2.
All right, go ahead. My question number 1.
Okay. Who scored points for Nagarote in the immunity challenge? In the immunity challenge. So who scored points in the memorization game?
Oh, so in other words, because they were playing to 3.
Right. In the battle, who scored the points for the Nagarote?
Kelly.
Correct. Actually, that's Kelly/Mike, but yeah, Kelly counts as a point.
Yeah, really. Well, Shireen missed. Let's see. Oh, that's the wrong document. I want to go back and remind myself who was.
You're reading a document?
Shut up.
Once again,
It doesn't
children,
say who
please
won.
don't tell your friends.
It doesn't say who won. All right. Who won? Haley?
That's 2. One more.
Carolyn.
That's 3 points.
Woohoo! Question number 1, David.
Mm-hmm.
Who had the strongest reaction for Max being voted out?
Hold on.
Wow, that's a very subjective question.
No, there was one reaction because I was looking for it. Oh, shoot. Joaquin.
Yes, that is right. 3 points.
Yep, because I remember I think he even got blurred. But, yeah, I remember there was one big reaction to his.
But wasn't that last episode? That wasn't this episode.
No, that was for the first challenge because they showed up for the first reward challenge without Max.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, uh-oh. Okay, well, this is good. You'll get this one.
Thank you, David, for the condescending remark.
Okay, you should get this one. How about that? Name the 3 states Rodney mentioned his tribe mates. Name the 3 states Rodney mentioned his tribe mates that he didn't get along with being from. Okay, so name the 3 tribe mates that he said he didn't get along with. Name their states because he did say their states.
Oh my gosh! So I get 1 point for each.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
Texas,
who are the? There you go.
I don't know where anybody else is from. California.
Who's that?
I don't have to know who it is.
That's a fair guess in this season because there's so many people from California, but I think a lot of them have been voted out.
And okay, the other people he didn't like. Let's see, there's Texas, there's Boston, but he likes Boston. Sierra, where is Sierra from? Where is Sierra from? Wherever Sierra's from.
Where do they have horses and barrels?
Kentucky. Texas.
No, that's horses and fences.
I don't know where Sierra's from, but it's Sierra. But I don't know where. I'm going to guess she's from Kentucky, but I don't really know.
All right, so Mike is from Texas. You got that right.
Yeah.
Sierra is from Utah.
Okay.
And Dan is from Maine, up in northeastern Maine.
Oh.
Well, Maine, the northeastern state. Now, I don't know if he's in northeastern Maine, but he's
okay. So I only got one. Who was the last person from Escamecca getting to the mat during the reward challenge?
I'm going to say Joe because I remember seeing his red shirt on the bottom of the ladder walking up.
This is the last season we're doing Miko's challenge.
Miko! No, don't go! Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Question number 3. Name all of the episode titles so far. I'm just kidding. But it does say name all of. Name.
By the way, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Name all the what? Miko, if you do a challenge next week, you gotta give us some questions to give Kelly, because she'll be on the show.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome. In fact, we should give her all the questions.
Yeah.
All right, question number 3. Name all the episode-specific hashtags.
What?
In other words, the hashtags not seen on any other episode this season. Oh, so pick out some things that were said that were not hashtagged in previous seasons. 3 points total, max 3 guesses. Every wrong guess reduces total by 1.
I don't even pay attention to the Wait a second. If I get one right or get one wrong, then I get a point taken off?
Remember we did that before, where we only get 3 guesses, so he decides that. I don't know, but I only got one answer, unless I didn't print the whole email. Let me see.
I don't pay attention to the hashtags, so I have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, who gets most of the hashtags? Let me see. Where's?
I don't even know. So I don't ever look at the hashtags.
Yeah.
I know Rodney had some, but I don't read them. I literally ignore them. So I don't know. All right, your question number 3.
Well, the one answer he did give me was bromance. Was a hashtag.
What are the odds of a turtle egg? Seriously, I get the how many hashtags have never been on a previous episode and name them, and you get what are the odds of a turtle egg surviving? The easiest freaking question of the whole challenge. Go ahead, David. Just shut up and say your answer.
I'm going to guess.
No, you're not. You're not guessing.
Well, she said one number. Jen said 100, but the guy said 120 eggs. So I'm going to say 1 out of 120.
Like I said, you're right.
Now, Susan Appleby had a suggestion. She goes, that was tough. Maybe do the challenge at the beginning before Dwaine is tired.
All right, so I have a proposition for Kelly, or for our use with Kelly. Well, whatever. I can't speak because I'm getting destroyed in the challenge. Next week, Kelly is our phone a friend.
Okay, so you two against me?
Yes!
Oh, for each of us. Oh,
Yeah,
for each of us.
no. Your idea is much better. Kelly is my personal help since you're destroying me in this game, and since I have the Seahawks flag and you don't.
See, I think Andy is a very merciful commissioner, Andy Westover, because for somehow you keep above me in that challenge. I can't catch up to you for some reason.
Well,
so,
that's because I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because the draft takes okay. The draft does not show. Well, I'll put it this way. In the Facebook challenge, I got to put forth my best team. When you're in a draft, you don't always get your best team. You see what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm doing better on the Facebook group is because my best team is better than your best team. But whenever we drafted, you got a lot of my team and I got a lot of your team. And so you got the good end of that stick.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying, though?
I do. Your 9 is stronger than my 9 right now in this challenge.
Right.
My problem was I forgot which 9 I sent.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Keep going back and checking every once in a while.
Oh, man, it's hot in here. All right. Hey, seriously, we do want to ask you to shop Amazon. Make sure that you start your shopping on Amazon. And we would invite you to become a patron of D&D. We now do 2 podcasts, Movie Talk with D&D and Survivor Talk with D&D. And your small monthly donation really helps. And there's a green button on our website on the right side. You can see it and click it. Let's see. Thanks to all of you. We also want to invite you to follow us on Twitter at Survivor_Talk. Join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Survivor Talk. And that's all I got. Do you have anything else, David?
Great episode. Loved it. Really, I just enjoyed it. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah. I just enjoyed it from beginning to end. Like everything Miko said and all of our great feedback said. Just a really fun, really good episode.
Right. I agree. And so that's all I got. Go get yourself a T-shirt if you don't have one already. Thanks again for listening. See you later, everybody.
See ya.